Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I've been real busy this morning. This is Gensler week here on the Digital Asset Investor channel. Gary Gensler is going before Congress. He's never had to go in person and actually answer for any of this complete ridiculousness that he's putting crypto and innovation in the United States through. And this guy's finally got to, at a minimum, answer any questions if these guys have the guts to even ask them, which is also questionable. But he's got to go anyway. And so I'm going to show you some good stuff today. First, I wanted to show you from Coin Paprika, who is one of my sponsors. Check this out. Apparently the inflation numbers came out today, and that's what's driving the markets. And so you've got some negative. So what did I do? I saw when I was actually getting all this ready, VeChain was down the most. And so what did I do? I went to Uphold, who's one of my sponsors. Link in the top of the description of this video. Click on it and tell them DA I sent you. And I went to Uphold, and what did I buy? VeChain. I bought the freaking VeChain dip. And remember, these are the ones I'm buying right now. Not all of these right now, but some of these, depending on which one's down and all that stuff. So anyway, I scooped up some more VeChain for basically nothing. So go check out Uphold, the link in the top of the description. Now, Fidelity offers plans to offer Bitcoin trading to its 34 million clients. And just yesterday, Mike Novogratz was on stage betting dimes to donuts. He said a little birdie whispered to him. This guy, he's always dimes to donuts, way ahead of everybody else on information, isn't he? Seems to always know something before all we retail chumps know anything, doesn't he? And then this. This has got to be what you call karma, folks. BitGo has filed a lawsuit against Galaxy Digital seeking damages of more than $100 million in relation to a breached merger agreement. That will be fun to watch. Mike Novogratz is Galaxy Digital, and BitGo is backed by Goldman Sachs. I wonder if he took a pee on the wrong person's Cheerios here. And then Kristen Smith, who's of the Blockchain Association and has never supported Ripple or John Deaton in his representation of over 70,000 XRP holders, even though she's the Blockchain Association, she runs it. She's the one that supposedly is supposed to represent the crypto industry, but only seems to represent Bitcoin and Ethereum. She's starting a PAC. It'll leverage the full might of the crypto industry to support pro-crypto candidates. And I asked her, hey, Kristen Smith, will this PAC be Bitcoin and Ethereum only like the Blockchain Association, or will it represent all of crypto, including Ripple? Just want to clarify. She will not answer that, just like she won't answer why she has not been supportive of Ripple or of John Deaton. But I'm still going to keep throwing it out there. If for no other reason, we're going to put a big spotlight on all these people who are not doing the right thing. And it will remain on them until we get our level playing field. At a minimum, I can't speak for the rest of you out there, but look, the second we get our level playing field, it's over for me. I'm going to go back to just covering crypto and Ripple and XRP and all that, and I'll quit all this focus on what all these people have done, which they ought to all be ashamed of themselves, but unfortunately I know better. None of them are ashamed of themselves. They're a bunch of arrogant people who have been arrogant for far too long and never been punished for anything for far too long, and that's why they continue doing what they're doing. Now, whale alert, 165 million XRP transferred from FTX to an unknown wallet. 165 million XRP on the move. Now, the Gensler hearing that's coming up, I think Warren Davidson is on that finance committee. And so I wanted to remind Warren Davidson this morning, went and found some of his videos that I've shown in the past. And I wanted to remind you all that the SEC boldface, at a minimum, they led Warren Davidson to believe one thing, and they knew it wasn't true. Remember, they told us that it was Bill Hinman's personal opinion giving that Ethereum free pass speech. They said that, and they said it was his personal opinion. Well, this is what they told Warren Davidson back then. That's Jay Clayton sitting right there watching.
Some of it is by enforcement action. I mean, one of the biggest ones in the space has been the SEC's enforcement action against XRP and Ripple. And that has a profound impact in the U.S. And a lot of people speculate as to what was really going on there. I think most of the industry took Bill Hinman's speech as guidance from the SEC. Yeah, fair point. The Howey test has been there, and I appreciate, frankly, Director Hinman last week clarifying that Ether is not viewed as a security. There had been some concern after some of your remarks that everything looks like it fits with the Howey test, and
When you're raising capital for a project?
Right.
Now, that's the moment. If you're Jay Clayton, you're the commissioner of the SEC. This is the moment where you say, oh, no. Correction, Congressman. The Bill Hinman speech was his personal opinion. That was not official SEC guidance. But he didn't do that, did he? Because he wanted to leave that congressman with that impression. And that's the fact, Jack. And these people need to pay for what they've done. Now, this is a great find right here. This Ashley Prosper has been knocking it out of the park recently. Remember how we've always said that there was that moment back in December of 2017 when Brad Garlinghouse had made a comment that a bunch of JP Morgan executives had been in his office. Well, this is the clip. I'm not going to play it for you because I took some of the clips out of this and I put together, if you want to understand what has gone on. The digital asset investor has been in this space since 2013. This channel was started in May of 2018. From that time until now, I've made 2 to 3 videos a day. I've seen things. I've seen it all. I've been from day one. I was scratching my head, going, "Why do they keep talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum? It doesn't make sense. Those don't even work. They're like prototypes, or it's like." It doesn't make any sense. Why is this all that they'll talk about? You got XRP and XLM over here. These things work. I've used them. I remember when I first bought Bitcoin. I remember even as early as this week having to buy something like Ethereum and Syndic and waiting for these confirmations. It's a joke, okay? Compared to XRP, it's a joke, both of them. And everybody knows it that's done it. And so I remember going, why? What is going on here? Well, it took me years to piece all this together, folks. And luckily for you, I've got it all right here in a real, it's 6 minutes for your pure enjoyment. And trust you me, folks, you need to watch every second of it so that you can see what has gone on. Watch.
So RippleNet is trying to take on Swift. What's been the traction like? Who's come on board?
Well, it's interesting as you step back and look at this. If you and I decided we're going to send $10,000 to California today, the fastest way for us to do it would be to drive to the airport and fly it there. That's a crazy thing to think about when you're in the age of the internet and we're used to information on demand. When we think about the customers that have come on board, it's because we're solving that real problem. We're changing the nature of a payment taking days to settle to California to seconds. So we now have well over 100 customers ranging from some of the biggest banks in the world to payment providers to the Western Unions and MoneyGrams, Linlin Pay out of China.
How many banks?
It's over 100. I actually don't know the exact number now. Last time we announced it publicly, we said over 100. We'll probably announce the next one when we get to over 200. We're signing up more than a bank a week now.
You mentioned Jamie Dimon, so let's bring it back to Jamie and JP Morgan. What do you think is going to be the thing that they will have to change the most or lose market share and somebody else is going to do better, faster, serve their clients better than JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs?
You can just hear the bankers panicking right now.
When we talk about Jamie Dimon, we first have to recognize where he sits. He sits at the top of the global financial infrastructure.
Central monopolist with another central monopolist. A lot of commercial banks aren't terribly excited about that. Maybe you're going to have to give some ownership. Maybe you'll have to give 50% of your ownership to the 20 banks that are now, part of this. I mean, there are other ways to build incentive systems. Maybe you put a native token in there, and you give them the native token. So there may be other incentive ways to beat the current monopolist.
There are a few banks, of which JPM is certainly one, that make billions and billions of dollars of profit by virtue of that perch. 99.9% of banks don't make money in this ecosystem in terms of cross-border payments. Jamie Dimon makes a technical term of a shit ton of money by sitting there.
So Quorum is an Ethereum-based enterprise Ethereum technology that was incubated at JP Morgan. JP Morgan, it's not well known, but JP Morgan has been paying attention to and involved in the Ethereum technology since before Consensus existed. So it may be right at the same time. I think they built their first experiment before the Ethereum public mainnet launched. And
that's interesting because so many people think of Jamie Dimon as being this like uber crypto bear because of his comments on Bitcoin, but they've been participating in it for as long as Consensus has. That's fascinating.
Yeah, JP Morgan's a big machine. Lots of activity going on there. Apparently, Jamie is pretty comfortable with blockchain these days, and probably has been comfortable with blockchain for a while, but wasn't comfortable for a while with Bitcoin.
So when I hear Jamie Dimon saying he's a fraud, I think to myself, well, of course he's going to say that. He's talking. I mean, and by the way, there's also people who conspiratorially, he's trying to talk down the price of Bitcoin so JPM can buy it. Like the idea that JP Morgan isn't actively working in the blockchain and Bitcoin space is not true.
So our company Consensus has been very prominent since the start of the Ethereum ecosystem. I can attest that JP Morgan was there right from the start before public mainnet was even launched.
Telling that all of our projects are, on an Ethereum variant, as an example, that's intentional. And I think that as a bank, many did not agree with that approach early on, but now it's sort of playing through as being relevant.
Frankly, I don't mind sharing. There are 15 senior JP Morgan people at Ripple's offices this afternoon. Now, unless JP Morgan's going to fire them,
does JP Dimon know that?
Apparently not. Anyway, so look, that's my thought on the whole JP Dimon thing.
They're deeply understanding because they are pretty ambitious and very good at making money as well. They deeply understand that every idea that's pitched to them is somebody who currently is small but wants to get big and gain market power. So they're also always thinking about how to ensure that there's a check to slow down your startup from gaining market power 5, 10, and 15 years from now. They don't want you to be the next clearinghouse like
Gary's fun with that.
The Chicago Mercantile Exchange or Intercontinental Exchange. They don't want you to be the next central node of market power. So you might share some of that with them, or you might find an incentive.
Yeah, we believe they get it. They've introduced a new construct, decentralization, into their thinking. So in addition to the Howey test, they have this new construct that they're seeing certain things in. So they consider the Bitcoin network and token and issuance mechanisms. They consider the Ethereum network token and issuance mechanisms to be decentralized, and therefore no transactions involving those particular assets are considered to be transactions of securities. They have not said the same thing about other tokens, the Ripple token, for instance, and they were clear that they were going to come out with statements to sort of assess these different tokens, and I believe they've made all the statements about decentralization that they're going to make. And
how does he know that?
Bill Hinman, Director of Corporate Finance, has been very clear about what you can do and what you can't do, and decentralization is a new element that they're working with.
Remember the SEC revolving door? Who's sent to run the SEC? Jay Clayton. Who does he bring over to the SEC? Bill Hinman. Jay Clayton, Sullivan, Cromwell. Bill Hinman, Simpson, Thatcher. We've got the timeline, folks. The timeline's all here. And you hit the pause button and take some time and read through that. But I'll show you. So look here. JP Morgan, Alibaba, Swift partnered in 2017 to revolutionize cross-border payments right here. JP Morgan for collaboration in making this happen for us seamlessly. Instant cross-border payments by strong collaboration between Alibaba, JP Morgan, and Swift. Simpson Thacher, and also you remember the woman who used to work at Accenture? She was the one that was supposed to look into Ripple when they were investing in Ripple. She was on a Link to conference, and she said that Swift kept Ripple out of their Sibos conference back in the day when this all first started. Simpson Thacher steers JP Morgan through $125 million SEC settlement. Simpson Thacher Bartlett client JP Morgan Chase, and then you've got Simpson Thacher to rake in $16 million for Alibaba's IPO, right? And who's right there in the middle of it, folks? The same guy, Bill Hinman, same guy that gives Ethereum the free pass is standing right there with Alibaba, okay? He's right there. And in this picture, I'll never forget this picture because it's like a cocky look on his face, like, I did this look. And there's another picture that's even more like, whoa. Then there's this. Trump's SEC nominee was an Alibaba IPO advisor right here. Where does it say it? Helped Alibaba in its massive 2014 initial public offering. Jay Clayton is a partner in the New York law firm Sullivan & Cromwell, and in turn an advisor to Goldman Sachs. And then when you go down here, it says, right here, it says, advising Morgan Stanley on the sale of its physical oil trading division and Bear Stearns on its sale to JP Morgan. So he's been working with JP Morgan as well. Then they go to the SEC and magically they won't give Ripple any kind of clarity. In fact, Brad Garlinghouse sat down with both Clayton and Hinman, and he said, we're here in purgatory. And Jay Clayton said, well, let's not talk about that issue. Let's table that. Just talk about your business. Then later, when he walks out the door, drops the lawsuit from the SEC. And Bill Hinman gives Ethereum the free pass. And then there's this. So now we've got Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler has never supported the XRP. They've tried to kick John Deaton out of the lawsuit. He's never met with any XRP holders. Gary Gensler hasn't. But look at all the times that he's met with Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan here, June 15th. Let's see. Then here on June the 9th, he meets with him. Then on September the 29th, Jamie Dimon. Then on March the 11th, Jamie Dimon. And that's not it, folks. There's more. And then he meets with Jamie Dimon, has a phone call on 5/15, March 16th, and then April the 29th, right here. Okay? So he's got plenty of time for Jamie Dimon. Remember, this is Gary Gensler, the same guy who every time he gets in front of a camera, he talks about how all the SEC is about is protecting investors. And yet he meets with Jamie Dimon 7 or 8 times and meets with those XRP investors 0 times. Won't even speak to them or acknowledge them. This guy's full of crap. And Congress better not play softball with this guy when he goes up there Thursday. This needs to be corrected. And they all know it. Because here's the problem. What this has always been about is trying to create a monopoly. Look at what's going on, folks. They will not go and look at who those hidden whales were in that Ethereum ICO for a reason. It's for the reason this guy's mentioning right here. A 51% attack on Ethereum 2.0 has already happened. A small group of early insiders and founders already control more than 51% of stakeable Ethereum. There's nothing honest stakers can do when this majority group predictably and inevitably abuses their control of the ledger. See, folks, they've been disguising this as decentralization. What does Joseph Lubin say anytime he gets in front of a video camera? Decentralization, trustless. And remember, this is the same guy that said you can create your own reality with words, okay? This is what they've done. They're trying to make it look like we're going off into this new decentralized thing when behind the scenes, the whales were hidden in the ICO. And it's controlled. Meanwhile, Ripple's been trying to be transparent, fight the good fight. And here you have this company, this Lubin character, who's being held up like he's some model for the industry, while Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson are being sued. You can't make this up, folks. But this is not going away, because that's exactly what this is. This is no different than what they did when they created the Federal Reserve. They went to Jekyll Island. They had a closed-door secret meeting. They all went on secret train cars separately. The representatives of JP Morgan, Rockefeller, and all the rich families in the world went to Jekyll Island, and they got in a room and they tried to create this Federal Reserve in secret. That's the same thing that's been done here, folks. It's the same thing. The only difference is this time you had the XRP army and social media, and they didn't count on that. We've got the timeline. We've got the video in their own arrogant words, and it's not going away until we have a level playing field, because there's thousands of us, hundreds of thousands, folks, or at least 70,000. But yes, this was a monopoly creation. They wanted to put out Ethereum. They wanted Ethereum to have the monopoly on DeFi, the monopoly on token issuance, and the monopoly on everything else. Issue all the tokens on Ethereum and have Bitcoin, and then any tokens are on Ethereum, and you have Gary Gensler to slam the door and call everything else a security and hold it all up while they get away with pulling off their monopoly. That's what this was. That's what this is. And you're about to find out if Congress is on the side of JP Morgan and all those guys, or if they're on the side of what's right and wrong and having a level playing field and not having monopolies in the United States of America. That's the fact, Jack. Okay? Congress, this entire SEC regulation by enforcement of crypto is designed to keep monopolistic power with the banking system while pretending that we are somehow bringing in trustless decentralized systems. The hidden whales from the Ethereum ICO blow this thing sky high. And then finally this, folks. I think that the people out here who have been fighting the good fight, the good guys, those of us that have been out here exposing all of this, and there are many of us, I think that we changed the game. I think we exposed so much corruption that it's forced them into a different scenario. I believe the scenario that the SEC was planning on and was headed for was to take this all the way to the Supreme Court. I believe because this is so corrupt and because there are so many people that have been exposed, that if we see those emails, if they go down that road any further, it's game over for a lot of people. I believe because of that, they don't have any choice but to settle with Ripple. And Ripple doesn't, Brad Garlinghouse has said there is no settlement without giving XRP clarity as a non-security going forward. And this is from Ashley Prosper here. She's retweeting one of James Phelan's tweets about Judge Torres and summary judgment. It says, so today the parties file their summary judgment motions under seal, essentially revealing their cards to one another before making it public next week. This is a great time to see if an agreement can be reached. Eyes open between September 13th and September 19th. And I said, I'm betting dimes to donuts on settlement at the last minute. I think the SEC is going to go to as far as they can. I think Gary Gensler's a stubborn little twerp. And I think that's why they put him there, because I think that he was a tool of these powerful people at the CFTC, and he's a tool here. And I think that they never counted on John Deaton and social media stepping up to the plate and putting a bright spotlight on what they tried to do, and they never thought the power would actually be with the people, because these people have been getting away with what they've been doing for so long and never been held accountable for anything in their lives. And this time, we got them. We got the timeline. We got the video. And I'm betting dimes to donuts on a settlement at the last minute. I originally thought the SEC would go all the way. Once I realized how corrupt all this was, I changed my mind. I think they wait as long as possible, and I don't know when that is. I'm not an attorney. Then they settle before the public is allowed to see it. Because if we see it, just imagine what we could do if we saw the emails, if they were forced to not have all this stuff redacted, they were forced to show truth. These people don't live in a world of truth. They live in a world of lies, and the truth shall set you free. But in their case, it might not. It might be the opposite. It might send you to prison in some of these guys' cases. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that although this video is long, everybody and their brother and sister and grandmother and father should see it. Because this is it. This is exactly what's going on. This video is the culmination of years of observing and observing and just knowing that things were not right in my gut, and it's all come together. Thanks for listening.